I pick up a lot of books because of YouTubers. I'm telling you, you guys are making me buy too many books. It's your fault. You know what? Let's just talk about the books that I got while I was away. It's a free country. It's a free world. I'm a free person. If I want to buy books, I can buy books. There's no shame. There's no guilt. I'm not going to feel bad about my love of books. I have some really good books lined up for Shorty September with this book haul. Hi everyone, it's me, Jess. I do have a very deep sound to my voice today, and that's because I'm getting over kind of a nasty cold that I picked up while I was away. So I'm here with a book haul, and it's quite a big one because I just came back from vacation and visited a couple of bookstores, and before that even I had a selection of books that I wanted to talk about in a book haul. So I actually cut a few out. I know, I cut a few out. I also got some packages, which I'm going to unbox with you while we do this. I tried to create some order here. I'm going to talk about the books that I got while I was away first, and then I'm going to talk about some of the books that I got before I went away, and then I'm going to unbox. So needless to say, I've accumulated a lot of books, like more than my fair share of books, and I've also started utilizing the library. And there's a mix of books from new bookstores, from online stores, from used bookstores. I kind of pick them up wherever I pick them up. So I'm going to start with books that I got while I was away. And this is quite exciting because I really had fun checking out the bookstores in Amerika in Maine. And I did pick up 3 books at, what was the name of the bookstore? The Maine Coast. I don't remember. It's in my vlog if you want to check. I don't remember the name of the bookstore. I feel badly. So I got 3 books at the bookstore there. 2 of them are classics. I found a copy of The Last Man by Mary Shelley, which I have never read, and I really loved this copy. There is a copy in the library here, but it's a bit older and a little bit beat up. This is one of the first dystopian novels ever written. The Last Man traces the path and impact of an unstoppable pandemic as it slowly overtakes the world. Beginning in the year 2073, the story follows Lionel Verney, the titular last man, and his circle of friends as the disease creeps from continent to continent. I'm very excited about this because I've never read it, and I'm really into my pandemic dystopian books at the moment. I'm really having a moment for those types of books. So that's The Last Man by Mary Shelley, and I found this, what I think is quite a beautiful copy of Franz Kafka's Amerika. It's a new translation by Michael Hoffman. I haven't really heard anything about this, but I don't have a really good quality copy of Amerika. I have an old copy of Amerika, which I won't pull out at the moment, but it's quite old. Actually, I will pull it out for you to see. So I have this very old copy of Amerika from 1946, and this one has an afterword by Max Brod. So I mean, but it's delicate, and I don't think I want to crack the spine too much on this one, so I was really happy to find this copy to add to my library. I haven't read it yet, but you know, eventually. So Amerika is another one of Franz Kafka's books that was never completed. It's about a poor boy of 17, the youthful hero of the book, Karl Rossmann, who has been banished by his parents to Amerika following a scandal. It does say that in creating this new translation, Hoffman, as he explains in his introduction, returned to the manuscript version of the book, restoring matters of substance and detail. Fragments which have never before been presented in English are now reinstated, including the book's original ending, in quotes. But I think this is a book that didn't have an ending. In Max Brod's afterwards, it says, Franz Kafka's manuscript bears no title. In conversation, he used to refer to this book as his American novel, but later he called it simply The Stoker, after the title of the first chapter, which had appeared separately in 1913. It says, Kafka broke off his work on this novel with unexpected suddenness. It remained unfinished. So it did remain unfinished. from what he told me, I know that the incomplete chapter about the Nature Theater of Oklahoma, a chapter the beginning of which particularly delighted Kafka, was intended to be the concluding chapter of the work and should end on a note of reconciliation. Oh, anyway, so yes, we'll see. I guess I could read the two and compare them, but that would be quite the challenge. And then I decided that I wanted to pick up something that was local. So this is actually written by a native of Damariscotta. The author's name is Adam White. It's called The Midcoast, a Novel. And I think it's a mystery. It says, it's spring in the tiny town of Damariscotta, a tourist haven on the coast of Maine known for its oysters and antiques. I can attest to that, and also lobster rolls. Andrew, a high school English teacher, has brought his family to a lavish party at Ed and Steph Thatch's sprawling riverside estate. Whoa, so he comes across some photos of a torched body in a burned-out sedan. The novel about the Maine coast, a winsome, perplexing, and ultimately shadowy place that doesn't give up its secrets easily. It actually sounds like it could be pretty good. Maybe next summer I'll go back to Damariscotta and read this. It's the kind of thing where I kind of wish in some ways that I had like picked this up and had more time to do the vlog and read it there. But anyway, that's nothing to do with this book haul. So if you're interested in the vlog, you can go back and check out my vlog from when I was in Maine and visited these places. And then I went to this really nice used bookstore. So because my memory is failing me because I'm filming and sometimes I just turn dumb when I turn on the camera, I'm going to put the names of the bookstores in the description box below of where I bought all of these books. But I felt pretty chuffed to find this. This is a copy of Behind a Mask, the unknown thrillers of Louisa May Alcott. So Louisa May Alcott wrote Little Women, and I didn't realize this, but 6 years before she wrote Little Women, she was in need of money, and she entered Pauline's Passion and Punishment, a novelette, in a newspaper contest. And not only did it win the $100 prize, but published under a pseudonym and marked the first in the series of Blood and Thunder tales that would provide her livelihood for years to come. Gruesome, passionate, even gory, the stories reveal a darker side of the writer beloved by generations. So I thought that was a pretty good find, and it has even some pretty neat illustrations in it. There's a really nice illustration there to go along with the story. So I thought that was a pretty nice find, and this may be a gift in someone's future. And then I was about to check out, and the gentleman who ran the store, I don't normally like to buy hardbacks, as any of you who've been with me for any of you who've been watching my channel for a while know I don't like to buy hardbacks. But the gentleman in the store convinced me to pick up the used hardback of the Rabbit Hutch. Because again, I was telling him he had a copy of I think he had a copy of Sea of Tranquility, and we were talking about Emily St. John Mandel, and we were talking about dystopian books, and he suggested this book. He said it's a little strange, but if that's the kind of thing that I was really feeling the vibe of, and I explained that I'm really in my dystopian vibe at the moment, he suggested this one. And I know that this was overlooked for the Women's Prize and overlooked for other prizes, but it was mentioned around the time of the Women's Prize by quite a few booktubers who I watched. So I think I'm pretty happy that I picked it up. And if I like it, I'll hang on to it. If I don't like it, I'll donate it. So that was great. Used copy. And then I went to another little town called Wiscasset. And this was actually like a kind of a store that had women's clothing, and it had books as well. And so they were really displaying this book, Instructions for Heatwave by Maggie O'Farrell, which must be one of her, it's I guess one of her backlisted books, but I had not heard of it before. And I really like, I've read 2 of her books this year and I've loved them both. So it's like, I just have to get it. So it says, London, 1976, in the thick of a record-breaking heat wave, Greta Riordan's newly retired husband has cleaned out his bank account and vanished. Oh, I'm sure it's going to be great. So anyway, I'm happy that I picked this up. I'm sure I will get to it at some point. So those are the books that I got while I was in Maine. I also went to 2 bookstores in Burlington, Crow Bookshop and Phoenix Books. And I picked up a couple of books in both of these bookstores as well. At Crow Books, they had a combination of used and new books, and I picked up 2 used books. The first one is Out by Natsuo Kirino. This is, Natsuo Kirino is another Japanese author. So I've been wanting to find a copy of Out for a while, and I've been keeping my eye out for it, so when I saw it, I was pretty happy. This is the story of a brutal murder in the staid Tokyo suburbs. As a young mother who works the night shift making boxed lunches, strangles her abusive husband, and then seeks to help her co-workers to dispose of the body and cover up her crime. At once a masterpiece of literary suspense and pitch-black comedy of gender warfare, Out is also a moving evocation of the pressures and prejudices that drive women to extreme deeds and the friendships that bolster them in the aftermath. Like, been wanting to read this for so long, and I'm so happy that I came across it. The other one that I've been really had my eye on for quite some time, and that has been recommended by loads of people, I think I heard Shelley talking about this one, is Say Nothing, a true story of murder and memory in Northern Ireland. And I think after having read Trespasses, I was interested more in the history of the conflict in Northern Ireland, and so it made me curious, and this was recommended. And I know that he's the same author, Patrick Radden Keefe, wrote Empire of Pain, which I also picked up, which I haven't read yet, but I think having read some true crime and having read some nonfiction, I'm kind of leaning towards nonfiction, so I might read some more nonfiction in the fall. Normally I kind of haven't been reading a lot except for memoirs, but all of a sudden I'm just interested in nonfiction again. This I hope to be, it's supposed to be really, really good. High recommendations for that one as well. And then I was so thrilled when I went into the Phoenix bookstore because what they had were some backlist titles that you don't always see so often. And the first one I saw that I've never seen in a bookstore is All Over Creation by Ruth Ozeki. And I was just thrilled to see it because I love A Tale for the Time Being. It's one of my favorite books. And I really enjoyed the Book of Form and Emptiness, which I read at the beginning of this year. And then I was just really excited because I had not seen this book before. It's about a 15-year-old girl who ran away from her hometown in Liberty Falls, Idaho. And then 25 years later, the prodigal daughter returns to confront her dying parents, her best friend, and her conflicted past, and finds herself caught up in a brand new drama. The post-millennial potato farming community has been invaded by agribusiness forces at war with a posse of activists, the seeds of resistance. Wow, this sounds so much like another book that I read this year. When was this written? This is so interesting. Like, this was written in 2003. With a quirky cast of characters and a wickedly humorous appreciation of the foibles of corporate life, globalization, political resistance, youth culture, and aging baby boomers, All Over Creation tells a celebratory tale of the beauty of seeds and growing things and the capacity for renewal that resides within us all. Okay, that's a bit cheesy, that part, but it sounds really good, and it's Ruth Ozeki, and it might not be as good as some of her other works, but I really want to read this one. And I'd not heard of it. I don't know if any of you out there who like Ruth Ozeki had already heard of that or not. Got a nice little bookmark from Phoenix Books. And then I'll talk also about this one, The Wall by Marlen Haushofer. I believe this is a translation. Yeah, it's translated by Sean Whiteside, and I guess it's translated from German. Oh, Upper Austria. So she's Austrian. So this also sounds really good. I've heard a couple of people talk about it, saying it was their best book of the year, so I'm hoping to get to it this year. While vacationing in a hunting lodge in the Austrian mountains, a middle-aged woman awakens one morning to find herself separated from the rest of the world by an invisible wall. With a cat, a dog, and a cow as her only companions, she learns how to survive and cope with her loneliness. I've heard really good things about this one too. So those are the books that I got while I was away. Now I'm going to talk about the books that I got before I went away, and there's quite a hefty pile here. First one I'll talk about is Once There Were Wolves by Charlotte McConaughey. So I'm actually currently almost finished Migrations by Charlotte McConaughey, and I think it was because I'm enjoying Migrations so much that I decided to get her previous book to Migrations, because I just am really enjoying it, and I like her. She could be a new favorite author. It's written in 2021. It says, when Inti Flynn arrives in the Scottish Highlands with a team of biologists to reintroduce 14 grey wolves, she hopes to heal not only the dying landscape, but her traumatized twin sister too. So similar themes to Migrations, definitely a similar idea, but that's okay. I'm curious about her as a writer. Next book is one that I got the idea to read from Canada, back from when the Canada Reads event was on. This was Jolene's favorite book from that competition. This is Greenwood by Michael Christie. Okay, so this is a book that takes place in 2038, 2008, 1974, and 1934. It's written in different time periods. So I think it's a book about the environment, but I don't know too much about it. I just heard that it was good from Jolene, so I picked it up. I actually ordered it, in fact. I would really like to read it. I take Jolene's recommendations very seriously. Another one that I picked up while I was in the bookstore here in Montreal was Love Marriage by Monica Ali. I haven't read it yet, but again, this came highly recommended by several different booktubers. So I think this is about a young interracial couple. It says, a glorious, acute observer of class, sexual mores, and the mysteries of the human heart, Monica Ali has written an exhilarating social comedy and a profoundly moving story of two cultures, two families, and two people trying to understand one another. Oh, it sounds pretty good. So I picked up The Friend also by Sigrid Nunez. This is one that Kat has talked a lot about on her channel, and it just sounds so good, and it sounds so touching and heartwarming. It's about a woman who unexpectedly loses her lifelong best friend and mentor, and then she finds herself with their dog. And at first doesn't think that that's going to lead to anything good, but it comes with unexpected rewards. So it sounds really heartwarming. Another one that Jolene got me to buy is Nothing to See Here by Kevin Wilson. I think she said that she thought Kevin Wilson was her new favorite author. Lots of people have been talking about this book, so of course I had to pick it up. About two twins who spontaneously combust when they get agitated. Their skin ignites with beautiful, startling flames. I mean, I don't know what to make of this book, but everybody says it's really, really good. So I had to jump in and pick it up. I also picked up the Ekweke Emeze, You Made a Fool of Death with Your Beauty. I also, in the early part of this year, heard a lot of people talking about how much they like this book. I'm pretty sure I heard Charlie talk about how good it was, and Gemma. How far is Faye willing to go for a second chance at love? Emeze's vivid and passionate writing takes us deep into a world of possibility and healing and the constant bravery of choosing love against all odds. Oh, it sounds really beautiful. Yeah, there's a couple more. I picked up my own copy of Tin Man. So for those of you who missed it, I read Tin Man for the college reading vlog and really fell in love with the book. It could be my best book of the year. I haven't done a best of mid-year, and I probably won't, but it's really one of those books that I just fell in love with, and I needed to get my own copy, and I think that this copy is just as beautiful as the other copy that I had, and very happy that I picked up my own copy. In that same reading vlog, I read Mapping the Interior by Stephen Graham Jones. I also, in a little mini book haul, picked up another of his books. I've forgotten the name of it at the moment, but I also ordered Night of the Mannequins, which is a novella, and it's supposed to be super scary. I think I might have to read this for Shorty September. One last laugh for the summer as it winds down, one last prank just to scare a friend. Bringing a mannequin into a theater is just some harmless fun, right? Until it wakes up, until it starts killing. Oh my God, it sounds so good. I had thought about reading some Annie Ernaux for Women in Translation Month, but I didn't own anything and I didn't really know where to start. She's a Nobel Prize winner for 2022. So it was recommended to me in the bookstore that I start with a girl's story. That's St. Henri Books in Montreal. I just wanted to try her out, try this book out. This is shorter as well, but it's Stream of Consciousness, but it could work really well for Shorty September too. So yeah, excuse the sniffles. I'm really still quite sick. And then I found in my local book box, so free, Hunger Makes Me a Modern Girl, memoir by Carrie Brownstein. I haven't read this, but heard good things about it. Carrie Brownstein is the guitarist of the pioneering band Cedar Kinney, and she also has a show. I think this is written about her experience as a musician, but she also has the award-winning television show Portlandia, which I also found very funny, if nobody's ever watched it. In my book box, so I thought it might be kind of fun to read that memoir if I have time, ever. But it was free, I had to pick it up. I always find good stuff in my book. Good times. Okay, so we've come to the last segment of the video, which is the unboxing of the books that I ordered. So I ordered some books from Blackwells. As some of you will know who've been following my channel and my reading experience of the Women's Prize, I was frustrated because I really wanted to read Black Butterflies. And I was really frustrated because I couldn't get a copy. And then I saw, guess what? It's out in paperback in the UK. So of course I had to order my copy of Black Butterflies by Priscilla Morris. I can't wait to read this. Definitely going to be reading it before the end of the year. And at the same time, another book that I was really interested in that was long-listed and I think even shortlisted for the International Booker was Boulder by Eva Baltazar, which would work for Women in Translation if I read it right now. But I think I'm going to save it till September because it's short. And so I'm going to save it for Shorty September. I have some really good books lined up for Shorty September. And then I have two more that I got in that same order because I just couldn't resist. You know, they do that thing where you have to pay for shipping, so you have to order more than just a couple of books. This, I'm so excited to, so the saga around this book is that this is also to do with the saga around the Women's Prize because I really wanted to read this book in preparation for the Women's Prize, but again, it was a book that I could not get a copy of. And I even ordered it from Book Depository, never got it. Book Depository shut down. So I never got my book. So I had to order it again. Like, if there's a will, there's a way. Never give up. Try, if you fail, try again, is the message of this book haul video. So the book is I'm a Fan by Sheena Patel, which I really want to read. Wanted to read it during the book prize season, but could not get my hands on it. Now I've got my copy, so watch out. Again, I think, well, it's under 200 pages. I'm not sure what the rules are for Shorty September, but then finally, last but definitely not least, I'm so excited about this. Now, I ordered this from the library because I didn't know when it was going to come, and it came in. So my hold came in from the library for this book, but I also ordered a copy of this book. Time Shelter by Georgi Gospodinov. Hope I'm saying that right. Just had to, you know, bought into the hype again. I hope it's good. It has a blurb from Olga Tokarczuk, who everybody knows I love. The most exquisite kind of literature, she says. So we'll see. And the Irish Times calls it immensely enjoyable. As in Time Shelter, an enigmatic flaneur named Ghostine opens a clinic for the past that offers a promising treatment for Alzheimer's sufferers. Each floor reproduces a decade in minute detail, transporting patients back in time. But as the rooms become more convincing, an increasing number of healthy people seek out the clinic as a time shelter, hoping to escape from the horrors of our present, a development that results in an unexpected conundrum when the past begins to invade the present. I mean, it sounds really good. Sounds really, really good. And then the last book is a recommendation that was made by Scott. Scott's one of my favorite booktubers. And it's funny because I'm going to reveal something about myself to my audience. So the author of this book's name is Jessica Andrews, and my name is Jessica Andrews. Like, So weird. It's the most common name ever. If you Google my name, if you Google Jessica Andrews, what you get is a country and Western music singer. But now you might also get this author. You're certainly not going to get me. So anyway, so yeah, he talked a lot about Jessica Andrews' book, Milk Teeth, maybe last year. I can't remember when, but really praised this one and Saltwater. And I think I just wanted to take his recommendation to heart, and he was really convincing and really wanted people to get this book and read this book. So I finally ordered it, Scott. I'm going to try to read it. I hope I enjoy it. It says, a girl grows up in the northeast of England amid scarcity, fearing her own desires and feeling undeserving of love. Years later, living in tiny rented rooms and working in noisy bars across London and Paris, she meets someone who offers her a new way to experience the world. But when he invites her to join him in Barcelona, the promise of care makes her uneasy. In the shimmering Mediterranean heat, she is faced with both pleasure and shame and must find out if she is able to change. I mean, it sounds good. This video should be called, I Purchased Books Because of Booktubers. Recommendations. That's it, everyone. Thanks so much for watching. Please, if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. Okay, if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, I think you need to leave in the comments a reason why you haven't subscribed. And be nice about it. Because really, why haven't you subscribed? If you made it to this point in the video, maybe consider doing that. Consider liking it. You all know how much it does for people's channels. And I thank you so much for being here, spending this time with me. And I will see you in the next video. Bye for now. I really want to read this along with everything else. So yeah, I buy BookTube recommendations. I apologize for all the coughing and sniffling and snortling because I am sick. It says perhaps a perfect book, stirring and wondrous. That doesn't tell me anything. Warm-hearted work. I don't know.